Hi, my name is Satnam Panglia. Welcome to my podcast.
Hi, Satnam. How are you?
Hi, Tej. I'm good, thanks. Great to have you on the podcast. I really wanted to talk to somebody who was or is very talented, and we connected a little while ago. I just saw some amazing things that you were doing out there. So I really want to delve into what you do, who you are, and things like that. So we'll start off with, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a mum of two, primarily, 5 and 7-year-old girls. I work 2 days a week, 2 different places, a day at Moorfields Eye Hospital for a private consultant, another day at the Institute of Optometry. And I've also do some artwork and take commissions for portraits, something I've started sort of last year. And there is a third thing, actually. I've also started doing clinical casework just to help with the COVID crisis at the moment.
So that's a lot of things you do. So let's just have a look at a couple of those. So what sort of work is involved at Moorfields and at the Institute?
So at Moorfields, the consultant I work with mainly specialises in anterior eye and cataract. So pre and post-op aftercare refractions. And at the Institute of Optometry, I work in the primary eye care clinic and see people with specific learning difficulties. So colorimetry, coloured overlay assessments, so the full orthoptic sort of workup.
Okay, cool. So that'll keep you busy. And I think the question is really, how do you balance working with the family life?
Well, I'm very lucky, actually. I've got a supportive husband who also works part-time. So when I'm out of the house at work, he can look after the kids. And then during the rest of the week, they're at school now. So I spend their school days doing my artwork, evenings. It's really flexible. So it's one of the big advantages of being able to work from home.
Ah, brilliant. And what was this thing you said about you doing some clinical work?
So contact tracing. With the COVID crisis, I mean, like everybody else, I really wanted to put my skills into use as a healthcare professional. And having the children at home, having to homeschool them recently, it's just been impossible to sort of get out of the house. So when the advert came up where they were looking for clinical caseworkers, I applied. I think I was one of the first people to apply, so I got the job straight away, trained up. I need to do a minimum of a certain number of hours a week. I think it's about 12 hours. I work from home I just need a headset basically, and I call cases and find out the contacts. Cases, people who test positive for COVID-19, and find out any contacts they've had over the last the 2 days before their symptoms began. So it's 4 hours a day. It's working from home. My husband's at home at the moment as well, so it's really flexible. So yeah, I'm just doing my bit.
And how's the sort of pandemic and lockdown affected you in terms of lifestyle and work and things like that?
Well, I had my first day back at Moorfields on Monday, which was different, but I'd had before that 11 weeks off. So even sort of the week before lockdown, no patients were turning up. So there was no clinic. They just cancelled the clinic. So it had been a long time at home. So yeah, I mean, I've had a lot more time. I mean, I was only working 2 days a week anyway, but I've just had so much more time to sort of work on my artwork and help with other things, and like the clinical contact tracing, and obviously family time with the children, which has been lovely.
Yeah, I think what caught my eye was I was sort of surfing through Instagram, and I think your account came up, and I saw this amazing drawing, and then I scrolled through loads of drawings, and I was like, wow, is this the same girl I know? And I was like, she's an optometrist. How could she even, and I was like, whoa, she's got some skills. So are you so good at, I mean, they were like pictures, they were like photographs. How are you so good?
Thank you. Well, I used to be really good when I was at school, and I did it for GCSE, but I didn't pursue it any further. I sort of did my A-levels in, to go with the direction I wanted to go into. Got into optometry, did my pre-reg, did a master's, research papers, and then I got busy, went traveling, some vision aid trips, got married, had a couple of children, and never really had a chance to get back to it. So I didn't really sort of delve any deeper into the, people used to say I was talented at the time. And then when my youngest started school, I had a bit more time on my hands. So I thought, let me just have a go at drawing. And I did. I also, funnily enough, I bumped into a lady at one of our Christmas markets, who's a local artist here, and just sort of flicked through her work. And I was telling her, I do this kind of stuff as well. And she was actually a psychotherapist who then has taken up, art as her main form of living. And she said, you just need to do this. Just do it. Put yourself out there and see what comes of it. So then I started my Instagram page and put a few of my drawings up. And before I knew it, I had people contacting me saying, well, how much do you charge? Can you draw a picture of, so-and-so? And it just really took off from there.
Yeah. I think, it wasn't just one picture, though. There was portraits, there was animals, there were scenes, so there's a wide variety of images there. And I was like, every single one was so impressive. And I went, oh, what do you charge? Because that was the first question. I was like, what do you charge? I would love to have one of those made up as well. So we're talking about really the lockdown, and we're just saying, look, you know what? We are all optometrists, and the lockdown has impacted everybody. But we all have these hidden talents. So we have to sometimes monetize some of these things so that we can have an alternative source of income as well. And the fact that you've been able to charge, how did you start out first? What was give us an idea of what it cost your first commission. What was that like? Was it £2.50? What are we talking here?
No, I set my bar high.
Okay.
It takes a long time to do a portrait, and you've seen them. I'm quite particular. I go into a lot of detail. I think that's the optometry side of me coming out. Just really precision is key. So it takes a long time. So I aimed high to begin with, and I thought, look, if they're interested, if they really want it, then they'll pay it, and if they're not, then fine. I'm just doing it as a hobby. The difference is that when I draw portraits, I choose a picture, and I when I'm doing it myself, I choose a picture, and I just get lost in it. It's like it's my form of meditation and my relaxation. But then if somebody gives me their photo to do, then I'm doing what I love. I really enjoy doing it, but I'm also doing it to make sure it's at their standard, make sure it pleases them. So I had to charge for it. So I think I charge fair prices. I do. I practice a lot. Most of the time it's with the kids, and they're drawing a picture, and then I just sort of go off on one, and they've wandered off, and they're doing something else, and I'm still sat there finishing off my perfect art piece. But I just practice a lot and really enjoy it.
So do you have like a photographic memory? The fact that they've wandered off and
photographs.
Okay, photographs. Okay, because some of the stuff is like action shots, and so that's a photograph that you've taken and worked on.
I certainly can't draw from memory.
And do you get a lot of commissions? If you had a choice, could you switch from optometry to just drawings?
I only started my Instagram page actually in January, so it's not been that long. It's very early on, so no, I probably couldn't just with this alone at the moment.
Okay, because I think you're absolutely right. You've got to value your time. You've got to value your art as well. And a lot of people sell themselves cheap or short because they think nobody will want their goods. But we're on a global scale now, where when you do put something up on Facebook or Instagram, you've got millions and billions of people out there. That's It only takes one or two people to go, whoa, like me. I'm like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And I will then share that with my friends. And that might be 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people who are on my feed and on my various accounts and stuff like that. And out of those thousands of people, you'll say, oh, I would like one of those. You'll need a handful of those people to say, can I have a commissioned drawing? I love what you do. I've seen you paint pictures, and I've been to your account. I've loved everything. So you're not really having to sell anything because your work really speaks for itself. It's that good. So I just love the fact that you've got so many talents out there. You're a busy mum. You're doing the caseworker thing. You've got you're back at work now. So and you're juggling this thing as well. So, you know, it's amazing that you can fit all that in. How do you do it?
A lot of juggling. Like I say, I do have a very supportive husband who sort of takes charge of the children, and just allows me to sort of pursue my passions. And the art, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, I'll just sort of wander off, and like I say, it's my meditation. It's just my relaxation. So I just really enjoy it. Saying that, I do still really enjoy optometry, and I'm not sure I'd want to do the art as a full-time thing, just because I love being with people. I love seeing people. I love helping people. And I can't tell you how excited I was going back on Monday, and just face-to-face contact, not having to do this, sort of Zoom meetings and seeing my colleagues. And it was a bit different, but I really enjoyed it.
So what was it like? I mean, first day back, because we're all in the same boat. We're like, I don't know when our first day back is going to be. We just really don't know, because we're all in that sort of strange boat where we're waiting for a phone call. We're waiting for somebody to say, right, the clinic's open, you're back. And I know people are under like 24 hours notice and things like that, depending on demand and when the bodies above us tell us we can actually test properly again, or at least to a reasonable level. So describe to me, what was the first day like when you turned up? What was involved?
But it wasn't even a full day. It was half a day, because that's all they could fit in. Patients were much more spread out. We could only have one patient in the waiting area. We've got 2 waiting areas, so 1 in each at a time. And there was a lot of hand washing. So hand washing before putting the gloves on, wearing a face mask, goggles, scrubs, and then an apron, which we change in between every patient, as well as the gloves and all the hand washing. But just things like wiping down the keyboard, wiping down pens, wiping down the patient's seat, the trial frame you would do anyway, but it was just a lot of wiping down, a lot of cleaning between patients. The big problem we had, actually, the patients wear face masks, and the trial frame steams up when they have it on. So they kept pulling it down, and I'd have to remind them, look, you still need to cover your nose. I know it's steaming up, but you still need to cover your nose, because we don't have the protection otherwise. But no, apart from that, it was fine. They're all sort of understanding, and they're so grateful to be seen. So I'm not sure when routine care will start. For the moment, it's half a day pretty much every other week for me. So it's not properly going back, but it's a start. It feels like the beginning of normality.
So how do you see optometry? I mean, at the moment, we're all going to be sort of going back in, staggered by the looks of things. Some shops have opened, the other shops open next week. Some shops are deciding not to open because they feel it's not safe. Where do you see optometry in terms of clinics, testing, and just general day-to-day stuff? Will it get back to the normal, or are we looking at a new normal generally going forward, with this pandemic still hanging over us?
Well, I think with the pandemic hanging over us, it will be different for a while. Really, until they can, either it fizzles out or they find a vaccine. I really can't see them relaxing sort of the new measures very much. Something needs to change. The eye exam fee, the NHS eye exam fee, wouldn't be able to cover. I mean, before it. I'm not sure how well it worked before, having to subsidise our work by selling glasses. But now, especially with more sort of online sales, people might never go back to buying glasses in store. So I do wonder if this is maybe the change we needed. Maybe things, our eye exam fees will start going up and actually covering our time at work. So we don't need to make up our fees by selling glasses. So maybe we can put the prices down of glasses, or maybe there'll be the Canadian way, where you've got optometrists, or standalone optometrists, and then a shop where you buy the glasses. I mean, that would be great. I think that would really be moving forwards with optometry. Lots of changes have happened in such a short space of time during this pandemic. So let's see. Let's hope.
I think you're absolutely right. I think there's going to be a new normal, and the new normal needs to be different. And you're absolutely right. We are undervalued I think, as a profession. We do give a lot more. For £20 or whatever the NHS charges, it really holds back the private site test fees as well, because by putting a benchmark so low, I think it impacts how you can charge a higher fee. And people don't see that value because they've they've taken for granted the eye test. For example, when I go to a dentist, I'm never late. I never miss appointment, because I know the value of my dentist. A, because if I do miss appointment, he'll charge me. And B, if I do miss appointment and not respect his time, they just cross me off their books. You know, so the value of the dentist to the person is much greater. And I don't think we are perceived as opticians in the same way. And it has an impact on what we can and what we should charge. Now, there are brilliant models out there where people do charge in independent practices a significant amount of money, between £50 and £100 per eye test. But then you are getting a better value site test. You're getting more. You're getting more time, more chair time.
That's right.
You're getting more thorough tests, because not all eye tests are the same. We say eye tests are the same, but they're not, because there are still places out there who don't do fundus photography. I mean, in this day and age, how can you do an eye test without fundus photography? I was blown away when we got an OCT. I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Why didn't we have one of these? And, you know, and when you got that sort of technology, it's amazing. I was speaking to somebody last week where they have an app now, and hopefully they'll become a guest on our podcast, and where you can triage the patient in their home. They take a photo, they send all the data up, and you can assess them pretty much from there. And I think that may be one of the things that we look at, triaging patients before they come in with the use of technology. What's your opinion on using technology to triage your patients before they come in, or even giving an online or a virtual consultation to people with eye problems?
I think we certainly need to make the most of the technology we have, especially at the moment where we just can't see the volumes of patients. But somehow, I mean, at the moment, I know people are doing it for free. They're sitting at home during this pandemic, and they're doing what they can from home because it needs to be done. But yeah, I mean, if that could be worked into a system, there's definitely a way forwards. Yeah. My only worry is, I mean, things can be missed. We're so used to, once we have the patient in, sort of just going through a whole battery of tests, whether they need them or not. So, you know, we'll need support behind us. We'll need the college supporting us, the AOP and the GOC. You know, we'll need a big shake-up if it was to carry on like this.
I mean, we can't really thoroughly test them from home or virtually, but what we can do is do consultations, which is what we're really getting at, because we are going to be limited to as who we can see and how many we can see in a clinic. So if, for example, we were to do a triaging clinic where people are having a virtual consultation, and then from that they are processed forward into the main clinic and say, right, you need an eye test, you need to be seen by a consultant, you need to be seen by A&E or by a GP. You can do that, maybe charge a small fee for that service. But then A, you are giving the service, B, you are charging for your time, because end of the day, you're a professional, you're a medical professional, yes, they're your patients, but you've got to say, hold on a second, I'm giving you my opinion and my time. It's the cost of the time that's the important part. And then we can funnel them in to the clinic to be seen appropriately for whatever they need. And I think there needs to be some sort of balance going forward where we can do that. Would you say that's a fair?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I think interesting times lie ahead. So it's going to be interesting, because we're all just guesstimating how things are going to work out, how they're going to pan out, as it were. But what I really want to reiterate really is that I'm just impressed and amazed by what you have achieved in terms of just shifting and not sitting around for 10, 12 weeks and waiting for the lockdown to be over. You've taken on the clinical cases, you've taken up your drawings, and got commissions, and you've kept busy. And we've all got talents, and I think we can all do something with our time. But sometimes it's just nice to have a line, I suppose.
Absolutely.
So,
The kids wouldn't allow that though.
yeah, a line is about 7:30 for me.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay, so we just wanted to say thank you very much for your time, Tej. Great to have you here and to share your time with us. And what I
Thank
really
you for
want to know
having me.
is, what is your Instagram handle? Where can we find your artwork? And also, we will add that to the show notes if you just tell us what it is. There'll be some commissions there that people want doing after seeing that amazing artwork. So tell us more.
Oh, thank you. So the handle is at Tej_Kahlon_art. It's easier when you see it. I actually started them before the lockdown, so the commissions all started before.
Okay.
It just happened that I've had lots of extra time during the lockdown to pursue it further. So yeah, contact me on there. Send me a message if you like what you see. Send me a message, and I'll tell you how we can go further.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.